Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. This is a study done by me and my colleague Ibrahim Ismail about the public perception and attitudes of Maldivians about mental illness. It's not a completed project, it's an ongoing project. So today I'm just going to be presenting about the preliminary findings of it. Now, I cannot talk about the perception of Maldivians without talking about what Maldives is. So here's a short introduction of the Maldives. It's a very different country from other countries because it's just scattered islands in the Indian Ocean. You see the map of Maldives and some dots. So each dot is an island, which means that each island is separated from the other island. So this is a huge challenge for researchers to collect data and for the government for all the development areas because access is very difficult. Now, mental illness is not a new concept for many Maldivians. Many people of Maldives have been talking about it for more than a decade. This escalated after the tsunami of 2004 because there was a lot of people who were mentally disturbed, who needed support, psychosocial support. But during that time, we didn't have any trained people, so there was a lot of talk about mental illnesses. We had a lot of help from other countries. So that I can say that this was the peak when people actually started realizing that about mental health and mental illnesses, all these things. But then the talk diminished a bit. It was there, it was not there. And recently it has started coming back. People have started talking about mental illnesses and it has become a public concern. Reports of increased mental health issues and seeking of help, introduction of mental health regulations, public discussion forums about mental health, media's attention towards mental health and mental illnesses, all have sort of started evolving around this time. Which all means that there is an upheaval of mental health and mental illnesses among the Maldivians. Now the aim of my study was to gain an understanding of the perceptions and attitudes about mental illnesses among the Maldivian public. And it is a very significant study because we don't have a lot of research around this area. As my friend Nahida mentioned yesterday, we don't have research around many areas, one of which is mental health. It's just one study done in 2003, which was initiated by the Ministry of Health and carried out by Dr. Naz and team. We talked about what mental illnesses were present at that time and how much people were aware of these things. And since then, it's been like 13 years, I think, and nothing has been done on this topic, nothing published actually. Students do quite small research, but nothing has been published, so I cannot rely on those data. So I think the results we get from this, at the beginning I told you that people have been talking about mental illnesses, so it's questionable how much they really know about it, what are their perceptions of mental illnesses. So this is significant in that way, and the research question is the public aware of the general aspect of mental illnesses and its treatment? The methods we used. It's a non-experimental quantitative survey. The survey was conducted using a self-reported questionnaire. It was designed specifically to study this in the Vehi language, which is our mother tongue. The questionnaire consisted of 7 main questions, including a question about the characteristics of victims of mental illnesses and a question asking whether the participants believe that mental illnesses can be cured. The target population was all Maldivians of age 18 and above. It was administered to a sample of 480 participants, approximately 39% male and 61% female across 70 islands in 10 atolls in the capital city of Maldives. The average age of the sample was around 30 years. Now, to collect this data from these 70 islands, we actually got help from the psychology students who were studying at the university and who had actually planned to go for Eid celebration to back to their islands. So we used them as a source to get the data from them. Some results. It is interesting to see that almost 93.88% of the participants actually believe that mental illnesses can be cured, which means that they actually know what mental illnesses, sort of they have heard the name and they believe that it can be cured. The more interesting thing is, even though they believe that it can be cured, the belief around who can become a victim is interesting. It says like 32% of the people believe that a main reason for getting a mental illness is being less religious. Okay, less religious, and 11.9% believe that you become a victim of a mental illness if you are a coward. Okay, so as I said, it's interesting because they know mental illnesses are there, they believe it is curable, but they sort of don't believe that everybody can get it. Now, actually when we asked about this question, the response towards men, it was just 2%, which means men, according to Maldivians, most Maldivians, men are not, or men might not be victims of mental illnesses. Okay, it's interesting. And this is a positive one, I would say. People actually knew where they were supposed to go for treatment if they had a mental illness. 78% of people responded that they know where to go for treatment for mental illnesses. And at this point, I would like to highlight that in Maldives, we have all the clinical psychosocial support setups in almost all, I would say, in Male, the capital city. And at the beginning, I showed you the map. Maldives is scattered all over Indian Ocean, and it is out of a lot of islands, where like 198 islands where people live. Just one island is giving the service of psychosocial support. And however, almost 78% people say that they know where to go for treatment, and they have actually highlighted some of the people or some of the places they can go for treatment. Like 57% of the people say that they need to go to a counselor or psychologist or a psychotherapist if they need help, if they want treatment for mental illnesses. So it's something positive. People are getting aware of where to go, where to seek help when they are suffering a mental illness. And 35% people also believe that they should see a psychiatrist, because in Maldives there is this sort of stigma attached with mental illnesses still there. Like if you go to a psychiatrist, then you aren't in your right mind, you know, and it was there in the past, but now I would say that it's slowly sort of changing. Now, the overall results, in conclusion, I would say our results indicate that the participants' perception about people who become afflicted with mental illnesses are stereotypical and negative. Now, there was a study done in Iraq, around the same topic. It says that 87% of the sample, majority responded rightly believe that mental illnesses should be treated by psychologists. Compared with Iraq, Maldives has actually a better number. Like 98% people, 93.9% people believe that you can be cured. So I wouldn't say that we are that bad, because Iraq is a more populated country compared to Maldives. So majority of the population is aware and believe in seeking relevant professional help. A considerable proportion of the public holds inaccurate perceptions and negative attitudes about people with mental illnesses. The findings of the study suggest the importance of continuing awareness programs. Thank you. of mental illness and treatment with a particular focus on reducing inaccurate and negative public perceptives about mental health and people affected with mental illnesses. So in short, I would say that Maldives is going in the right direction. It's taking time, it's slow, but it is moving towards the right direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, one question, please. Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on to another set of 4 papers. This is a real test of stamina.